All right, hey, what's going on? Welcome to episode number 5 of Native as I Can Be, Between Two Cultures. I am the host, Gino Ray. So last week was not my favorite thing I've ever done, but recorded basically an hour talking about myself. So feel free, and based on the number of plays I have noticed, feel free to skip that episode. But don't skip this week's episode. This one is really good. I'm talking with some friends, Nikki and Noah, white guy, African-American girl, been together 16 years, and we're talking about interracial marriage, dating, relationships, etc. Went super good. Definitely check it out. Pretty proud of this one. And please, anytime, I would love to hear feedback on any of these episodes. I'm getting the plays, the number of plays I would like, but would like to hear what people think and what they would like to hear, or ways I could improve, or anything, or just even what they thought of the content, or I should say especially what they thought of the content, and what it provoked in them. So let me know what you think about that. And I'm going to, in this upcoming episode, we are, of course, talking about interracial relationships, and we bring up white privilege. And I bring up the Netflix documentary by Chelsea Handler called "Hello Privilege." It's "Hello Privilege, It's Me, Chelsea," and it's about her kind of coming to terms with white privilege. And white privilege is obviously it can be a very controversial topic. Some people don't even think it exists. They think it's a myth. I personally don't. But that's for you, the viewer, I suppose, or the listener in this case, to decide. So definitely check it out. It's worth it. It might open up some things, and she's a good person to do it, because she's very forthright in her views on this subject, and how it is impacted her life and career. So definitely go check that out. And go check out Kenji Nita's podcast while you're at it. He's got a really good one about illegal immigration. So just search Kenji Nita on Apple Podcasts, or I think you can get him wherever you get your podcasts. But he also has a YouTube channel. So that's a good one to listen to as well. So that's what's happening this week. Thank you for listening. Next week, I've got another fun episode planned with a guy named Quentin Gardner, who's in I don't know if it's death metal or what sort of genre of metal it is, but he is in a heavy metal Michael Jackson cover band called Full Metal Jackson, which is just the idea brings a smile to my face because I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan, and no documentary has persuaded me to be otherwise. So R. Kelly, yeah, but not MJ for some reason. But yeah, so stay tuned for that episode next week. And for now, let's get right into it. This is me, Nikki, and Noah talking about interracial relationships. Let's go. All right, we are sitting here with, well, I'm not sitting with Nikki and Noah. I'm on the phone with Nikki and Noah. How are you guys doing?
Good.
We're going to be talking. We're going to be talking about interracial couples today, and I am also in an interracial relationship, and I think all of them are because I am interracial in a way. So first of all, how did you guys meet? What was the spark? Just kind of describe how you guys met and how that all went.
We met in college at University of Oregon. Probably, what year was that? 2002 or 3?
16 years ago.
2003. And at a party through mutual friends, and then just kind of hit it off right away. And then the next day or two, realized that we lived, or maybe that night, I can't remember, but we lived in the same apartment complex, like in the same building. Nikki was upstairs on the other side, so that was convenient.
That's a
and we just kind of started hanging out, and then one thing,
and our friends were friends.
we started rapping, and that's how it happened.
Nice.
So, and then from there, we've pretty much been together ever since.
That's amazing. And you guys had never bumped into each other before.
Nope.
That's...
And we probably both lived there like at least 6, or I'd been there at least 6 months, because it was in like February time, so September to February, and I think she lived there before that.
Yeah, I lived there a full year.
But yeah, we'd never bumped into each other, seen each other, anything.
That's crazy. That's something out of a sitcom or something.
So,
and then you have 2 kids. Your kids are absolutely adorable, by the way, if you don't mind me saying.
Thank you.
So cultural differences I don't think are negative necessarily, but how have any kind of cultural differences or even the way you guys came up, how have they helped you guys grow individually and together?
Our differences are pretty big. I grew up in a pretty dysfunctional household. And so I was resilient, so maybe I fought harder for our relationship sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I think just real basic level, there's, I'm from kind of the country, Nikki's from the city, she's got a big family, I've got a small family, she's black, I'm white, so like, culturally speaking, I don't think, I certainly didn't recognize much of that impact early on, or early on in our marriage even probably. But there's definitely things that just come up, especially when you have kids, you live together, like, and it's definitely not negative, it's just different, you know what I mean? So there's, I don't know exactly how to describe it, but there's for sure little things that compound and add up into just a lot of stuff. But at the core of who we are as people, we're very similar in a lot of regards. We're into a lot of the same things. We kind of think about life in a similar way. And then when you're together with somebody from such a young age, like I was 19. Actually, I think I was 18, just about to turn 19. And Nikki was 20, about to turn 21. And so, like, when you start with somebody that young,
change together.
Yeah, you both grow up kind of together. And so, for sure, that probably had influences on who we are now. You know what I mean?
Sure. Was there any similarities that surprised you?
Huh.
We're both pretty stubborn. She's a little more stubborn than me, but what else?
I mean, back then, I think it was more about the fun of it all.
Yeah.
Like drinking, hanging out with friends, and as we got older, it was more about like similarities with politics and how you want to raise a family and where you want to live and what you want out of life.
Yeah, like what's important to you?
Right.
Yeah, all that's pretty parallel, which I feel like we're really lucky because other people go in the opposite direction sometimes. So,
yeah, you can definitely grow up together and grow further apart. But, you know, I still like hanging out with Nikki, and I think she likes hanging out with me. And so, you know, we're friends first, which is super important, I think.
And we communicate a lot. I think, you know, there's sometimes been times where somebody can do something that makes you feel like it's racist. And I have other friends who are in interracial relationships, and the spouse doesn't understand. And Noah understands, which is huge.
Yeah, I would say that's a difference right there, dude. The communication piece, like, and I'm generalizing here, so bear with me, but I think there's cultural differences amongst, like, how you fight and how you argue and how you communicate with each other, whereas like in the family that I grew up in, and I think a lot of white families are like this, you don't necessarily talk about everything, you know what I mean? And so I mean, that was a big adjustment for me, getting used to all my feelings and stuff. And then, you know, Nikki's like the ultimate
communicator.
Wants to communicate about everything. And so that's, hold on a sec. Sorry, our dog keeps going in and out. That's a big difference for sure. I think that has to do, I don't know if it's necessarily race related or just familial, family related, but like just talking about everything. And
I think that could be gender too.
Oh, for sure. But, you know.
My dad was a super communicator, and like we were involved with a lot of conversations that we probably shouldn't have been involved in. So that was like natural for me, not so much for Noah.
Yeah.
So how did your guys' families react to, especially I think when you guys started getting more serious? What was their?
So my dad definitely, I think, was like, "What the hell? All my kids are with white people." Oh, and then once they met Noah, they're like, "Oh shit, Noah's down." Like, so I think that broke a lot of barriers because they were envisioning like a different kind of white dude, I guess, than Noah.
Dude, I don't think anybody was surprised for me, like on my side, you know, yeah. I've always just had a thing for dark-skinned women, and so not necessarily just black, but like I just was always down with, you know, that was just what attracted me. So I don't think anybody was surprised. Nobody had an issue with it. It was just like, you know, there's Noah's new lady, and you know, we were also away at school in college, so like I don't know. I've never really been one to care too much about what other people think. But as far as I can remember, there was no like.
We didn't really have any negativity.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh my God, going outside the lines.
Yeah.
My dad had sweated me about being with white women before, ignoring the fact that my mom is a white woman. So I never understood kind of how that worked. But, well, that's good. I don't know if that's common or uncommon that everybody.
Well, even Noah's like 90-year-old grandma pulled me aside and was like, "Just want to make sure your family's okay with this too."
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And she was super okay with it, but she was concerned if my family wasn't.
Huh. So was this... Go ahead.
Which is pretty, like, rare for a woman that old.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
She was cool.
So
she's open-minded.
Yeah, that's great for 90. That's surprising. Was it the first time dating outside your race for either of you?
No.
Okay. So this one's just for Nikki. So do you? I don't remember where I got this, but there is sort of an allegation, I think you could say, of people of color who date interracially are accused of self-hatred. Do you think there's anything to that, or is that just somebody trying to?
I mean, I think there can be people, like there's some black women that might be with a white guy because they want their kids to have light skin and different hair. But for me personally, I think it probably stemmed from, one, I grew up in a predominantly white, affluent neighborhood. And so I was mainly around white people the majority of my life. And also I have a strained relationship with my dad. So I think on a subconscious level, I maybe was drifting away from that.
That makes sense. What about Noah? So, and then the flip side of that is white people dating interracially might be thought of as rebelling. Do you think there's any of that going on?
Maybe. I don't know. I never thought about that before. I definitely have thought about what you asked Nikki, like, what is it that attracts mainly black women to white dudes or vice versa?
Mm-hmm.
Black dudes to white women, and but on the flip side, probably a little bit of rebellion, maybe just like, what's the way to say that sensitively? Something new, something different,
Yeah.
like not foreign, but like exotic, maybe. Intrigued by the unknown. It's not like I grew up in a super, like where I grew up was mainly white people and Latin people or Mexican people. So yeah, probably a little bit of that.
And I would say for me, definitely not like self-hate or anything like that. I think for me, I've always been more about the soul of the person than the look of the person. And I think I lucked out with Noah because he's good looking, but like that wasn't like my top criteria.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes to show that we've been aligned pretty much our entire relationship. So obviously color's not a factor there and not important.
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly, what'd you say it was, 16 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, so clearly there's something deeper than, the exoticness of it, or
Yeah.
Well, and to make it through, like in the beginning, you notice people staring, people might make comments. Like it can be hard, especially for Noah, not being a person of color,
mm-hmm.
A newfound, I don't know, not hate, but like negative aura sometimes from people.
Right.
And so for him in the beginning, I remember it being hard, like him being like frustrated, and I'm like, welcome to my life.
Right. Well, and then you guys had said before we started recording, kind of avoiding certain areas or certain parts of Oregon. Has there been any kind of serious incidents in places?
Well, I had one in Portland where I was driving down the freeway and someone rolled down the window and spit on my car with the kids in the car.
Okay.
And that freaked me out because I could have swerved and I didn't know what their intentions were.
Right.
And that was like pretty scary. But I would say almost every negative experience I've had, Noah hasn't been there.
Oh, right. That makes sense.
Yeah. So when I'm by myself.
Because a chicken shit that's going to do something like that's not going to do it when there's a guy in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want this smoke.
Well, it's
no,
funny.
there hadn't really been any incidents. Like I was working out in Eastern Oregon one summer, and like I think there was one black dude in the town,
But I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
I didn't feel comfortable. Like, I don't like putting myself in that situation where I'm more likely to have, like, a racist experience.
Yeah, and it's not like something triggered it. It's just something you think about more than, you know, two white people just go wherever they would want to go, or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Eastern Oregon is definitely a lot of rebel flags. I've seen a lot of I've seen them on cars and on people's biceps and stuff. That's I noticed, and I'm surprised the incident happened in Portland, but not too surprised. But I noticed I had went to Idaho a couple weekends in a row with Laura, and I was like, God, I can't wait to get back to Portland and, you know, be a little more anonymous, you know, blend in a little better. Even though Portland's still pretty white, like it's a little more mostly accepting and up to date. But I totally get that. There's just towns or places you're just like, can we just get the hell out of here? Like, gas up and get out of here. So I get that vibe totally. So outside of like culture and color and family, what is it that is making you guys? What's keeping you guys together?
Common bond. Like, I just say, like, we're best friends. We really get along, and we communicate well, and we laugh a lot together.
Yeah. We're pretty, I'd say we're like, have a lot of little weird idiosyncrasies that match up well, you know? Like, I don't know, there's a bunch of weird stuff that we're homebodies, but, you know, we both like to eat really good food, and like we're just we
like comedy.
Yeah, we have a lot of like stand-up comedy. We're super into that.
And Noah's like down with black comedy, which is huge.
Yeah, how could you not be? I'm trying to introduce Laura to a lot of the stuff I've listened to over the years, especially older stuff like Pryor and what's the other guy, Paul Mooney and stuff, and she's coming around. It's I think it's hard if you're not a very I think it's hard for some people to look past like the language.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So do you think what kind of misconceptions do you think people have about interracial relationships?
That you're running from your race, I think, or...
Well, I just think that they're any different from any other relationship, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like we fight about the same stuff that anybody else would, or we, you know, laugh about the same stuff, or we're into the same stuff as anybody else would with their spouse and their kids, you know? It's like, the misconception, I would say, is that it's any different, like, at the core.
I always think, like, when I get it from the black side, like, black men, it's like, why do you think you would like me? Like, you don't know me. You're only looking at my skin color. You know absolutely nothing about me. So why do you care? You could hate me as a person.
Right.
So I always think it's, like, I don't know, strange.
That they would care
so much to
like they would be a better candidate because they're black.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that seems. Yeah, I think. I don't know. It seems like the stuff all that stuff seems peripheral. That they don't have that big of an impact on the relationship itself.
No.
I think one big thing, too, is politics, especially right now, that we have the same political beliefs.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I don't know how you date somebody that doesn't jive that way. I think you can like different foods, but I don't know how you cannot have the same ideology as far as how you think the world will be. Okay. Well,
I think we're both pretty open-minded too, which I think helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what would you give any advice to your kids if they were going the same direction, as to how to navigate the waters, or by the time they're ready to date, are we going to be in a world that nobody cares.
I mean, I hope by the time they're dating that a lot of those barriers are shut down because there's so many more mixed kids and people of color everywhere. What do you think?
I think that, hopefully it's a non-issue, but I don't think it will be. I don't think it ever will be, especially not in this country. And as long as, I don't know, I have the same answer for a lot of questions about the future for our kids, but basically I think if you raise them to love themselves and take pride in who they are, and especially women as like strong young women, then I think they'll be set up to handle whatever adversity they have, no matter who they date or what they date, or, whether it's a man, a woman, black, white, Asian, Mexican. It's just like, if they respect themselves, they're going to be with a partner that's going to respect them, and the rest is just noise. Because at the end of the day, everything usually works itself out. They're not. Hopefully, it's not going to be at the front of their mind the way it is or has been in the past for us and people before us.
Right.
I would say, as like a mom who like goes to schools, that it's definitely more racially diverse with more. I mean, I don't really remember very many mixed kids growing up around me. And now I feel like there's a lot more. So I think that makes a difference to see people that look like you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's interesting, because I've gotten heat in the dating world for dating white women. And it's not like I've exclusively went after white women. I've dated a lot of different type of women. But I think when it comes to Native women, they don't, there's been cases where they don't want to see a Native guy date a white woman. It's, have you had anything like that I'm talking to you, Noah, as far as dating a black woman? Has there been any kind of issue, like, why would a good white man go date a black woman?
Not that I'm aware of. If there has, then it's not communicated, which maybe that goes back to what I was saying earlier about just like the way people communicate. Mm-hmm. But no, I've never had. Nobody's really ever confronted me about anything like that, man or woman.
I'd also say, like, people also don't always know what Noah is.
Yeah.
Like the other day, someone thought he was Hispanic.
Yeah, 2 people. I was like, nah, dude.
So
I'm a Jew.
So I think sometimes for Noah, he may get a little less because he's not like a blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not like a straight-up, what does Gary Owen call it? White cracker bread. White cracker bread.
But do you think?
Yeah, no, I haven't had any like. Well, why aren't you with a, blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl? Like, I don't know.
Well, for one, you like who you like, but but I almost kind of see a point in what they're saying. Like, I could see how that might be like, and it goes back to the the idea that of self-hatred. Like, I think I think it can be easily construed that if you're dating a white person and you're a person of color, that you're rejecting your own people. I can see how that can come across.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think it's probably more common of a thought. Well, I don't know. At least in my circle, I can't really think of anybody that would have an issue with that.
Noah also grew up in like a very hippie, dippy, loving, caring community. Yeah. So they have pretty much all welcomed me with open arms, and I feel completely being in that predominantly white community because of the mind frame of a general group of people.
Yeah.
Even though it's a really small town.
Oh, really? It's a small town, and they're like that.
Yeah, they're all though, so it's like they're just pretty much good people. Not everybody, obviously, but most of them. At least anybody that we
associated
with. that we hang with still.
So how does so Noah, do you have a grasp or an understanding of sort of like white privilege? Because she was saying, it's.
I'm glad you asked me that, Gina.
Okay.
Hell yeah, dude. We were just talking about this the other day, and we have many, many times, but like, everything is white privilege. Or you could make the argument that everything is white privilege. From driving in your car to job interview to what else? We were just talking about this. I mean, literally you could take any situation and turn it into a form of white privilege. I was talking to a guy I worked with the other day, and his wife is like a quarter Asian or something. I think she's Vietnamese or Thai. And they were thinking about where they're going to move, like when they buy a house and stuff. And she told him one of the cities near here she didn't want to go to. And he's just like, man, I never thought about like being the only minority in a town. And I was just like, yeah, dude, it's called white privilege, man. And then he said something else. It was just like we went down this rabbit hole. But yeah, I mean, it's alive and well. And the more people talk about it, the better it is, just like anything else.
I'm going to give a free plug. There's a show on Netflix that Chelsea Handler did about white privilege.
Yeah, we just watched it the other night.
Yeah, that's why it was fresh on my mind. But she has the analogy that it was somebody she was talking to she was saying, like, you can't explain to a fish what water is. Like,
exactly.
It just exists all around them. And the guy was relating that to white privilege. And I've experienced that because I've tried to debate my white, not even debate, just tell them, like, what white privilege is. And they always kind of have the answer, like, well, I don't know anything about white privilege because I get up and go to work every day and I work. They're kind of missing the point. And I think the other part that I liked about that show was, a couple different people said it. Like, yeah, it's great that you're doing a documentary and you're coming and talking to black people about white privilege, but you need to be talking to white people about white privilege.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have to coddle you,
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people get, I don't know if offended or like defensive is the word, but they get like awkward and want to dismiss it because they're uncomfortable with it or admitting that it's even such a thought process. Nikki just pulled up a quote here. It says, white privilege doesn't mean your life hasn't been hard, but it means that the color of your skin isn't one of the things making it harder, which is true. So it's, I mean, just like the fish in the water, it's like, it just is. It just is there. It's not up for debate because it's such a reality.
Right. Yeah, totally. And that's just, I think you're right. People get defensive or they don't like to be called out on this kind of stuff, and it does. It's not a comfortable conversation to have, especially if you're the one living it, I think.
Yeah, and it's not a attack on that individual that you're talking to either,
Right.
It's like, hey man, you personally didn't make up this
social
world and the social construct that we're living in. But to deny it just makes you look ignorant.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
It's also not a complaint that people of color are making to as a scapegoat. It's because that would take away some of the credibility, right? It's not a created construct. It's just a fact, and the sooner people recognize that, the sooner you can, acknowledge it and work to have a more cohesive community.
Right. Yeah. And in 2018, 2019, it's weird. Sometimes it feels like progress is being made, and sometimes it feels like we're taking steps backwards.
100%.
Well, I think that was all I had. The baby's getting restless, so thank you guys so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Man.
Thanks for doing this podcast. You're inspiring me.
Oh, really? Well, I appreciate that.
Yep.
I didn't know where I wanted it to go. The only, I just wanted people to have something to think about. And
yeah.
But thank you. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
You too, brother. Thanks, man.
You, Gina.
Bye.